Hey guys, welcome back to FurnaceClans. I figure with the upcoming new version coming out, everybody's going to be pretty busy getting involved in that, so nobody's going to want to watch my show. Shocking that. As all of you know, I've mentioned in the comments a couple of times, I'm probably not going to do videos on the new version until they get the first or second wave of serious bugs hashed out. So I will probably continue FurnaceClans to do that if you want to continue watching the older version. However, we're going to see if I can't speed this up and get this done before the new version comes out. So, on that note, you'll notice here, one of the things I have is Defend Live Fire Balcony. The question is, what is the Live Fire Balcony? Live Fire Balcony is this. Oops. It's down here over the live fire pit. Now, to understand how I have them defending that, we have to go to Military and Schedules. If we come here to Iron Arrows, you notice I have live fire training. I put them on for 3 months, take them off for 3 months. It's Defend Live Fire Balcony, 10 minimum. This order, if you want to take a look at it, is a Defend Burrows order for the balcony. So they'll come down here and they'll start working on the undead that are down in the hole and get themselves some practice in. Our first guy's coming up. Okay, now I'd like to give you a quick laugh. Just one more thing about these guys. One of my military was going to go fill his water skin and got interrupted by the mutilated corpse that's through the, what are these things called? Sorry. Fortifications that are right there. So they're not actually going to go run off and do their water skins either. Isn't that fun? Now, to just show you the inconsistency here, I've got one of my dwarves here who's running off to pick up equipment, 007B. Now, if we take a look at jobs, 007B is to pick up bolts. So they are actually going to go run off and go get some equipment. They're just incredibly inconsistent about doing it. And this is one of those things that just bugs me constantly, and I wish Toady would fix up. Well, maybe I did just find part of the problem. I just created some bolts in my Craftsworth workshop because of a noble request. And as soon as I did, these guys ran up to come get them. However, all this ammo I've got here is being ignored, and I don't know why. So let's try something. Let's do this the easy way. Forbid everything here. And then we'll reclaim. So let's see if I get a mad rush for those bolts. Cancels pickup equipment interrupted by corpse. So, let's see, you are going to pick up equipment. Alright, so working from the assumption that quantum storing my bolts is the problem, we're going to dig out a bolt repository. We're going to make it huge. And we need to make sure you're part of the safe and sound burrow. And what we'll do is I'll take that stockpile out that's currently quantum storing it. Let's completely just remove this. Hauling, where's my ammo quantum storage? No vehicle. Remove route. We'll remove the track stop. And we'll just completely remove all quantum storage for it. Oops, I only got an ambush. That's just fun. Now, here's something I hadn't thought of. All those dead dogs, they're rotting down there as we blow parts and pieces off them. Something down here is rotting. Where are you? Rotten dog corpse. So, one of the things that's going to happen down here is my guys are going to be suffocated by miasma. That's not going to do great things for my happiness levels. Now, as a final note, because we're running low on bolts and this training isn't working out as planned right now, I've got a number of bolts in the middle of being created. You'll notice that I was getting cancel water skins interrupted by dog corpse and stuff like that. Now, what I did do was I came in here and I turned off the alert for active training on iron arrows, so they went to their inactive state. They all turned into civilians, and they were all able to walk away from the dog corpses, even though they were getting interrupted as military. Always a good thing to know. So I guess it's only fair if I show my mistakes too, huh? So apparently when I built the live fire pit and I built out my floodgates, I didn't use all magma-proof material because I managed to break both of them when I tried to drop them to contain some magma in there. I decided I wanted to try and clear out the corpses that I had put into the live fire pit because I'm getting almost no pathing into the OMG whatsoever anymore. And I was afraid that these guys had taken over the pathing rules, or they had gotten higher on the list than everything else, so nothing else was coming in. Because of that, obviously I flooded the place. And we've got a dog corpse everybody's shooting at that won't die. The place is filled with nothing but smoke. Because of that, I'm not seeing much in terms of combat reports. No recent announcements. But I can see them shooting. I'm also getting a ton of these equipment mismatch messages, and I'm not sure why. But my guess is they're trying to pick up bolts, but I'm not quite sure what's got them all screwed up. Anyway, we'll be doing this for a bit, I guess. That's pretty much going to take care of the live fire pit for me for a while. It's just not worth it if they're going to... English, my friend today. It's not worth the live fire pit if it's going to screw up all my pathing. So one thing I'm looking forward to in the new version is the ability to pulp the undead. Because if you remember, we were discussing, well, there's been a discussion about just burning the undead down in magma. Well, you watched me attempt to do that earlier. You'll notice I still have them here, but if I look at them, we now have burning dog corpses, bringing their own smoke and fire everywhere. There's no more magma down in here, hasn't been for a while. They are just upgraded zombies. How fun. So, just some more information about when you're building yourself an ice wall. The distance also becomes a problem for other reasons. One of the things that's happening here, if you'll notice, I have tons of ice on the walkway. These guys seem to spill their buckets in travel after a certain length of time. The closer I am to the fortress, the less stuff seems to be on the ground. I hadn't really realized this previously. I thought it was due to invaders and things like that, because we were getting reasonably interrupted and sick and things of that nature. But from what I can tell, one of the things slowing down the construction of the wall at this distance is that they keep spilling half of it. Great. Ho ho! So, it's not that they're klutzes. Well, not directly anyway. If you'll notice, I'm staring at somebody who's about made it to the end of the way. He is carrying a tin bucket, and you'll notice he's got 2 units of water and 8 units of ice. Now, if we come back here to somebody else doing a fill pond. Let's see here. Here we go. And we take a look at their bucket. They've got 10 units of water in there. So what seems to be happening is, while they're traveling with the bucket, it's freezing. Well, that's an unexpected complication. We'll have to turn this into an indoors somehow, so that the water doesn't freeze while it's in transit. I'm going to have to think about that one. The problems we're having with the buckets were happening in winter. We've just entered early spring. I'm curious to see if this is a seasonal concern. I'm currently following somebody with a tin bucket with 10 units of water in it, so we're going to follow them along. Now that's interesting. We've got snow-covered, snow-covered, and snow-covered. He just got here and his bucket's empty. Oh, he just dropped ice underneath him. So it looks like the majority of the work I have done at the long range was in summer. They've gotten much further in spring, but not enough. Now, to try and combat this, I'm building floors across the walkways, and I'm hoping that the indoors will help keep it from freezing. We'll find out. Because what happens is, if we take a look at the space, you'll notice here, down here, it's outside and light. Down here is inside and light. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We're going to find out. It's a test. So someone had inquired on the thread for the single pick challenge about what was happening with our buckets, and that there were a lot up here. Well, they're correct. If we take a look in here, I've got buckets kicking around with ice in them. Oh, that's just great. I don't think I have any other buckets filled with stuff. We're going to take a quick look at liquids. I want to make sure I don't have any lye. Syrup, no, we're good. We have 62 units of water somewhere. Huh, well, that's a bucket filled with water. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to head over to DF Hack. As you can tell, I've been checking the weather. Oh yeah, we also had a ghost we had to clear out. Now, if I remember right, it's just dry buckets. There we go. Now, if we head back upstairs... That didn't help. They still got ice in them. That's not good. Not quite sure how to deal with that. Get back to you on that. So what I think is another oddity going on here, it's now midsummer. I've got a very small pit pond going way on the edge. If we look up, a lot of his travel is now in indoor areas. We haven't finished it off yet, but they're building it out reasonably quickly. If we take a look in his tin bucket, he's got water. Now what I'm finding is when they get right up around here somewhere, they run out of water. Okay, you stay there for a second. We're going to go down here. We have ice, snow, and snow. Okay. Still hasn't dumped it. Still hasn't dumped it. Whoops. I didn't want to follow. I wanted to... He's on fill pond. Back to his inventory. Okay, he just dumped. And, well, now we have ice. Okay, worked once. One of the times earlier it went empty. We're going to see if we can't catch him in the act. Haha, caught one in the act. Check this guy out. So he's set on fill pond. And if we go to his inventory, he's carrying an empty bucket. He dropped his ice. So, a couple of things we've proven. A, these ceilings really don't seem to matter much. We'll finish them out anyway just to get them out of the snow, but it doesn't seem to matter much. It looks like most of my wall work will have to be done in summer because I'm getting, I don't know, maybe a 50-50 bucket rate when I have them drag the bucket out. So, we are still freezing in summer. It's sometimes falling out of the bucket, sometimes not, obviously. Because if I'm right, this guy's also on a fill pond. And we're going to follow him. Now you notice this guy's still running up like he's got something in his bucket. His bucket still has water in it. Ah, he just lost it. Yep. Ice on the ground, his bucket's empty. And so it's variable as to where it drops. Ugh, what a pain. So, not a perfect solution, but even in high summer, not sure how else to deal with this. We will have to, well, I'll have to come up with something. Oh, great. Lovely dust cloud. You shouldn't mess with everybody. So I've determined that the water tends to freeze up at about 70 steps. As far as I can tell, the actual indicator to this is the above ground item. Inside and outside seriously don't matter. As you can see, I've got all of this covered now with flooring as a overhang, and it doesn't really matter. So the inside-outside certainly doesn't matter to that. It was worth trying. Now, one of the things I have done is I've built a little square of ice out here. The idea behind this is we are now going to dig a hole. So we're going to drop a stairway there. We're going to drop an up-down here. dropping up down there. And down here, we're going to build an upward stairway. From there, we're going to dig ourselves out a little bucket chamber. And we'll remove the old one. And we're going to set up 2 wells. What this will do is it will take out approximately, these are each 10 apiece, so 10, 20, 30, 40, let's figure about 60 steps outside. That should get me just in range to be able to finish up over here, and I'll be able to start up along this way. At which point, we'll repeat it, drive another hole, set up another well room. Well, something in my plan has gone horribly wrong. Up here on top, we have a nice downward stairway. Down here, when it got dug out, we now have a claystone boulder. Okay. So let's try building a up-down stair, I suppose. Not sure how that happened. There. That looks a little better. Not quite sure where that happened, though. So for those curious about where to find your buckets in your stockpiles, they're under furniture siege ammo, of all frickin' places. And we've now created a stockpile for buckets here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the bucket stockpile here. And that should get our buckets moved over to this location. I suppose I could make that a much smaller area with some quantum storage, but it's easier this way. So, lo and behold, my plan for my extra water area here worked just nicely. I'm able to start filling the final gaps in this wall over here on the right. I did a little test with the furthest away. They were causing me the most problems. So we'll be filling this in. And that should... You guys don't need to watch me do that. So this will end this episode of FurnaceClans. As always, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I know I said at the beginning of the episode I was hoping to get this done before the next version came out, and I missed that. 40.01 is out. It's currently in its first wave of bug testing. I am going to finish FurnaceClans before I work on advancing up to 40.01, and I'm going to let Toady and the gang clean up all of the bugs that are involved in an initial deployment, because I just don't have the time to play beta tester as well. And once that gets done, my intent is to switch over to the DF How-To series once I finish off FurnaceClans here. So I will see you for the next episode. We are at 81 citizens. I have 59 to go before I can take over as the Mountainhome. I have about 95 undead sitting around there. As you can see, some are burning. I still have a number of dog corpses down below. We're still working on figuring out how to clean them out. And other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.